Mewtwo Strikes Back is not just a movie. It's a cornerstone of the Pokémon universe. This groundbreaking film took us beyond the lighthearted adventures of the anime series. We dove deep into complex themes of identity, purpose, and the ethics of creation. The story begins in a high-tech laboratory. Here, scientists attempted the impossible to clone the mythical Pokémon Mew. Using a single eyelash containing Mew's DNA, they created a being of immense power. They called it Mewtwo. Mewtwo grew within the confines of his tank. He was a marvel of genetic engineering. His psychic abilities surpassed anything the world had ever seen, yet he was a prisoner of his creators. The scientists monitored Mewtwo's every move. They studied him, tested him, and controlled him. Little did they know, a storm was brewing within the heart of their creation. A storm of confusion, anger, and a desperate yearning for freedom. Mewtwo's existence was an anomaly, a paradox that defied the natural order. He was a being born of science, a creation of human ambition and curiosity, a copy of a creature he had never met, a shadow of something ancient and powerful. As he grew stronger, so did his questions. Who was he? Why was he created? What was the purpose of his existence? What was his purpose in this world? These questions haunted him day and night. The scientists, blinded by their ambitions, had no answers for him. They were too consumed by their own goals. They treated him as an experiment, not a living being with thoughts and feelings. To them, he was just data, a subject to be studied. This disregard for his sentience fueled Mewtwo's growing resentment. He felt like a prisoner in a cage, trapped by their indifference. He yearned for connection, for understanding. He wanted to be seen as more than just a creation. But all he found was cold observation and scientific curiosity. The sterile environment of the lab only deepened his isolation. The more he learned about his origins, the angrier he became. The truth of his creation was a bitter pill to swallow. Mewtwo realized he was nothing more than a tool, a means to an end for the scientists. A weapon created for the benefit of his creators, not for his own sake. This realization was a turning point. It ignited a fire within him, a desire to break free from their control. He refused to be a pawn in their game any longer. He would no longer be their puppet. He would forge his own destiny, even if it meant defying his creators. Mewtwo was determined to find his own path, to discover his true purpose. Mewtwo's powers were immense. He could level mountains with a thought, control minds with a glance. His creators, for all their brilliance, were no match for his psychic might. The laboratory, once a place of wonder and scientific breakthrough, became a prison break. Mewtwo unleashed his fury, destroying the facility that had held him captive. He would not be controlled. He would not be anyone's experiment. Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket, arrived at the scene. He saw opportunity in Mewtwo's power. He offered Mewtwo a deal, a chance to hone his abilities in exchange for his loyalty. Mewtwo, still reeling from his escape and seeking a sense of purpose, reluctantly agreed. This alliance, however, was built on shaky ground. Mewtwo saw through Giovanni's manipulative facade. He knew Giovanni desired his power, not his well-being. It was a temporary partnership, one that would soon crumble under the weight of Mewtwo's growing self-awareness. Section 4. The Island of the Clones. Mewtwo, seeking solitude and a deeper understanding of his existence, retreated to a remote island. He fortified this sanctuary with powerful illusions and psychic barriers. It was his fortress, a place to contemplate his next move. From his island stronghold, Mewtwo issued a challenge to the world's greatest Pokémon trainers. He invited them to a tournament unlike any other. He wanted to test the strength of the original Pokémon against their cloned counterparts. Trainers from far and wide, including the series protagonist Ash Ketchum, answered the call. They braved treacherous storms and perilous seas to reach Mewtwo's island. Each trainer carried their own aspirations, their own desire to prove their Pokémon's strength. None of them realized the true purpose behind Mewtwo's challenge. He wasn't interested in petty competition. He sought to answer a fundamental question that haunted him. Were clones inherently inferior to their originals? Section 5. A battle for supremacy. The stage was set. The atmosphere was electric, filled with anticipation and tension. Trainers and Pokémon alike were ready for the ultimate showdown. Original Pokémon faced off against their clones in a fierce battle. Each move was a testament to their strength and skill, a mirror image of their own abilities. Each side fought with unwavering determination, their trainers urging them on with passionate cries and strategic commands. The bond between trainer and Pokémon was evident in every action. The air crackled with energy as attacks clashed and roars echoed across the island. The ground trembled under the sheer force of their power, creating a spectacle of light and sound. Ash's Charizard exchanged fiery blows with his clone, each flame more intense than the last. Their battle was a dance of fire and fury, neither willing to back down. Pikachu's electric attacks met their match against his doppelganger. Sparks flew as their electricity collided, illuminating the battlefield with flashes of light. The battle raged on, a chaotic symphony of power and strategy. Every move was calculated, every attack a blend of raw strength and tactical precision. Yet, amidst the chaos, a new challenger emerged. The battlefield paused, if only for a moment, as all eyes turned to the newcomer. Mew, the mythical Pokémon from which Mewtwo was cloned, appeared. Its presence was both awe-inspiring and enigmatic, a beacon of hope and mystery. It flitted through the battlefield, its playful nature a stark contrast to the intense fighting. Mew's light-hearted demeanor seemed almost out of place amidst the chaos. Mew's presence added another layer of complexity to Mewtwo's existential crisis. It was a reminder of his origins, a symbol of what he could never be. Mewtwo, enraged by this unexpected turn of events, turned his fury towards Mew. His attacks were fueled by a mix of anger and desperation. He saw Mew as the embodiment of everything he was not free, accepted, and part of the natural order. This realization only deepened his inner turmoil. The battle between the two psychic Pokémon shook the very foundations of the island. Their powers clashed with such intensity that it felt as if the world itself was on the brink of collapse. The outcome of this battle would determine not just their fates, but the fate of all who watched. Section 6. A Sacrifice for Peace. The battle between Mewtwo and Mew raged on, a tempest of psychic energy threatening to consume everything in its path. The air crackled with raw power, and the ground trembled under the force of their clash. It was a spectacle of might and fury, with neither side willing to back down. Ash, witnessing the escalating destruction, knew he had to intervene. His heart pounded in his chest as he saw the devastation unfolding before his eyes. The stakes were too high, and the cost of inaction was too great. He couldn't stand by and watch the world be torn apart. He rushed between the two combatants, desperate to stop the fighting. His mind raced with thoughts of his friends, his Pokémon, and the countless lives at risk. With a determined shout, he threw himself into the fray, hoping to be the catalyst for peace. Mewtwo and Mew unleashed their full power, a blinding flash of energy engulfing Ash. The intensity of the blast was overwhelming, and for a moment it seemed as if the very fabric of reality might unravel. Ash's figure was lost in the radiant explosion, a silhouette against the searing light. When the light subsided, Ash stood frozen, his body transformed into stone. The once vibrant and courageous trainer was now a lifeless statue, a stark reminder of the price of peace. His sacrifice was a testament to his bravery and his unwavering commitment to protecting those he loved. He had sacrificed himself in a desperate attempt to end the conflict. His actions spoke louder than words, a silent plea for harmony amidst the chaos. The battlefield fell silent, the echoes of his bravery resonating in the hearts of all who witnessed it. The sight of Ash, petrified and lifeless, sent shockwaves through both sides. The combatants, once consumed by rage, now stood in stunned silence. The gravity of Ash's sacrifice began to sink in, and a profound sense of loss washed over them. The battling Pokémon ceased their attacks, their rage replaced by shock and sorrow. The energy that had fueled their conflict dissipated, leaving behind a heavy stillness. The realization of what had transpired brought an end to the hostilities, if only for a moment. The trainers rushed to Ash's side, their grief a testament to the young trainer's courage. They gathered around him, their faces etched with sorrow and disbelief. The weight of his sacrifice was felt by all, a poignant reminder of the cost of peace. Pikachu, Ash's loyal companion, tried to revive his fallen friend. His small body trembled with effort as he called out to Ash, his voice filled with desperation. The bond they shared was unbreakable, and Pikachu refused to give up hope. He unleashed a surge of electricity, but to no avail. The sparks danced around Ash's stone form, but there was no response. Pikachu's efforts grew more frantic, his cries more desperate, but the reality of the situation was undeniable. Ash remained frozen, a statue to his selflessness. His sacrifice was immortalized in stone, a symbol of his unwavering dedication to his friends and the world. The image of Ash, forever captured in his moment of bravery, would be remembered by all. Tears welled up in the eyes of the Pokémon present, their sorrow echoing the grief of their trainers. The scene was one of profound sadness, a collective mourning for a hero who had given everything for the sake of peace. The legacy of Ash's sacrifice would endure, a beacon of hope in the darkest of times.